March 2017, Champions League round of 16, second leg, Barcelona versus PSG. Barca will need a miracle to pull off a comeback against their rivals after going down 4-0 in the first match. All of the Catalans were highly motivated, but one of the 22 on the pitch stood out above the rest, and his name was Neymar. He scored twice and assisted once in the last 6 minutes of the game, but in the end, his name was not in the headlines. It was once again Messi this, Messi that. Yes, the story of Neymar and his departure from Barcelona is infamous, but there have been others that have not been discussed as much. So today we are going to look at 5 players with similar stories who changed clubs to get more game time. One of the biggest examples we can all think of is the current Rayo Vallecano player James Rodriguez. Yes, for those who don't know, he moved back to La Liga after his heroics for Colombia at the Copa America, but his first spell in Spain was not what he had dreamed of. His time there began after a mesmerizing performance at the 2014 World Cup. Real Madrid signed him for a whopping €80 million, and he quickly established himself in the first season under Carlo Ancelotti, scoring 17 goals and laying on 18 assists in all competitions. His technical ability, vision and talents made him a fan favourite, and he looked set to be a key player for years to come. However, things began to change after Ancelotti was replaced by Rafael Benitez in 2015 and then by Zinedine Zidane a year later. Under Zidane, James struggled for regular game time due to a combination of tactical decisions and fierce competition in midfield from the likes of Luka Modric, Toni Kroos and Isco. Zidane often favoured a 4-3-3 formation that did not suit James's strengths, leaving him on the bench or used infrequently as a substitute. Speaking of his strengths, he is one of those players who still believes in the romance of football. A few years ago he said there aren't any number 10s left in the world and that those who wear a number 10 are usually centre forwards or complete midfielders. And well, he was not one of those players. He was a classic number 10, known for his fascinating creativity and eye for goal. But his love for that particular position proved to be the reason why he didn't make it at Real Madrid. Soon after his failure under Zidane, James spent time on loan at Bayern Munich before agreeing a permanent move to Everton. Moving on to more recent news, one of the biggest transfers of the 2024 summer window is undoubtedly Julian Alvarez to Atletico Madrid. It was definitely an unexpected transfer from Man City, who had an incredible workhorse in Alvarez, but ultimately he had no choice if he wanted to take his career to the next level. Like Messi with Neymar, Alvarez was heavily overshadowed by Erling Haaland. So Alvarez seems to have made the right decision, and even more so now that he's won everything in his career already. Yes, if we were to ask Pep Guardiola if he wanted to part ways with the Argentine in the first place, the Maestro's answer would surely be a resounding no. But those 95 million that Man City will take home will certainly make the situation a little better for Guardiola. According to reports, the deal will be made up of a €75 million initial fee and a €20 million in add-ons. And when Guardiola says in an interview, we cannot replace him.
We cannot replace him. We cannot.
You can be sure it's a big lie. We all saw what happened the first time he said that. You want another transfer from Manchester to Spain? Well, there you have it. Gerard Piqué from Man United to Barcelona. Despite arriving at Old Trafford as a youngster in 2004, he struggled to break through the Red Devils' defence for more or less his entire time there, due to the formidable partnership of Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic. With the pair at the heart of United's defence, Piqué's opportunities were limited to sporadic appearances in the early rounds of the FA Cup and League Cup. One of Piqué's main problems in England was his slight frame, which makes life difficult in the Premier League. This forced him to settle not only as a substitute, but also as a reserve. Indeed, at times during his tenure there, he was literally the last man standing in Sir Alex Ferguson's list, behind even Wes Brown and John O'Shea, who was seen as more experienced than him. And then after 4 years of limited opportunities at Manchester United and a relatively successful loan spell at Real Zaragoza, Piqué decided to return to Barcelona in 2008 in search of regular first-team football. Back at his boyhood club, he quickly established himself as a key figure under Pep Guardiola, forming a strong partnership with Carlos Puyol. His story, and more importantly its aftermath, teaches us that sometimes you can have amazing qualities as a person and a professional, but just not be in the right place to show them. Piqué went on to win numerous accolades with Barcelona, including 3 Champions Leagues and an impressive 9 La Liga titles, which puts him in the top 10 in this regard. Looking back on Piqué's case, Man United may have regretted missing out on one of the best centre-backs of this generation, but nothing can compare to Mohamed Salah's situation at Chelsea. He joined the Blues in 2014 as an exciting, pacey winner from Basel, and people had high hopes for him. But with the likes of Eden Hazard, Willian and Andre Schürrle already in the team, there was simply no place for Salah. However, competition wasn't the only problem the Egyptian faced. We have all seen cases of little-known players beating the competition. The big problem for Salah was that Jose Mourinho, the manager at the time, favoured a conservative style of play that often demanded a high level of defensive discipline from his wingers, an area in which Salah was considered to be lacking at that stage of his development, despite his potential to contribute a lot offensively. So in search of more game time, Salah went on to 2 successive loan spells in Italy, wearing the colours of Fiorentina and Roma. Yes, he continued to neglect his defensive duties as a winger. On the other hand, however, he was an absolute beast in attack for both Italian giants and eventually caught the eye of the big clubs, including Liverpool. And also, one last note on this, we all talk about Jose Mourinho as one of the best coaches, but even the greatest make mistakes, and this one definitely qualifies as a major one. And last but not least, the curious case of Leroy Sané. A hugely talented winger from Schalke 04, Sané was a force of nature at Man City, pace, creativity and flair. This sums up his fascinating time at the Etihad. Sané took some time to adjust to the intensity and physicality of the Premier League after his move, but he quickly became a key player, especially in the 2017-18 season when he was named PFA Young Player of the Year after helping City win the league with a record-breaking 100 points. He was hugely influential for City in his first 2 seasons at the club, contributing a total of 48 goals in 86 appearances in all competitions. However, he also had the same problem that Salah faced under Mourinho: defensive duties. After the midway point of the 2018-19 season, there was a clear sense that Sané's playing time was starting to diminish significantly, with Sterling and Bernardo Silva taking on more important roles. Despite his attacking talent, Sané was often criticised for his lack of discipline in defence and inconsistency in meeting Guardiola's high tactical demands. His situation worsened after he suffered an ACL injury in the 2019 Community Shield, which sidelined him for almost a year. Overshadowed by the likes of Silva and Sterling, he then sought to move elsewhere, eventually joining Bayern Munich in 2020. Yes, he is having a good time at Bayern, maintaining his respectable figures in those 4 seasons at the Allianz Arena, but to this day there is still a feeling that his work at the Etihad was unfinished. So what do you think? What other players who've been overshadowed by a teammate can you think of? Give us your suggestions in the comments section below for part 2. Also, please show us your support by hitting the like and subscribe buttons for more entertaining content. Stay awesome, and until next time.